Good afternoon on day 136. I left Big Lake Youth Camp not too long ago. The plan was, of course, to leave after breakfast, but I'm sure you're seeing how this thing typically goes. So, left in the afternoon after lunch. It was really cool being there. It's amazing that a summer camp, with all the other things they've got going on, makes a point to also cater to hikers. It's just awesome. So enjoyed my time there. It was kind of fun being at summer camp again, honestly. I grew up going to summer camp and have good memories of those times. And so it was just kind of fun to watch that summer camp do its thing and then kind of think about and remember when I was a teen, because it was a teen week this week. So just remember when I was a teenager at summer camp as well. So anyway, really cool, really grateful to that youth camp for being so wonderful to hikers. Check it out. There's two of them. You can't just have one marker for 2,000 miles. Morning on day 137. Burn areas are definitely sad, but it does mean that you get the views. Check out this next giant in the sky. I believe these are my first views of Mount Jefferson. It's just gorgeous today. Blue sky, cool mountain, pretty trail. It's not even that hot. So I got to Russell Creek tonight, and I wasn't expecting any stream crossings, like not in the sense that I would have meant when I was in the Sierra, but that's what this was. The water was surprisingly rapid because there's been sections where there hasn't been a lot of water, but this water was moving really quickly, lots of rocks. I kept looking and it seemed like I should be able to rock up in certain places, but it never looked good. I spent a long time looking for a safe place to cross and went, what felt like pretty far upstream, especially because you can't just walk upstream, you have to like rock scramble upstream. So anyway, after a really long time of looking for a safe way to cross, I ultimately decided to not cross that creek tonight. I was getting like more frustrated. It was getting later, and so I realized I was closer to making stupid decisions. I don't have my trekking poles anymore, and those helped a ton in the Sierra with crossing streams. I sent them home because I was just carrying them around, and that was just silly. For some reason, I'm just not comfortable walking with them, and so it didn't make sense to just carry them. But I haven't needed them. They would have been helpful in this situation. And also I hit that stream crossing alone. I did see another couple down there while they were kind of doing the same thing I was, going upstream and looking for a place to cross. And as I was getting frustrated and thinking, I'm just going to go back down, maybe I missed something that was easy and blah, 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 they kept going upstream, and I think they may have been able to cross somewhere further upstream than I went. I'm not positive. But yeah, ultimately, I decided that was a problem better dealt with in the morning, and that is the first time I've made that decision. But yeah, so first off, I'll have a clearer head, and I'll be not as tired because this was the end of the day. And then the water, there's a possibility the water will actually be lower. If this creek is still being affected by snowmelt, it might not be as high or as fast in the morning. I don't know, but there's possibility. So yeah, I walked back a little bit and found not a great campsite, but a campsite. And yeah, I'm gonna rest and try that one again in the morning. Okay, so I'm on the far side of this river, so I did manage to cross it this morning. The water level is a bit lower right now than it was last night. It's still kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm on the other side. So what I ended up doing for that crossing is basically just walking straight through. I had spent enough time looking last night that I had kind of already decided, like, I didn't care if I got my feet wet. Like, I was just going to get to the other side. And so basically right at the trail crossing, which is kind of where I showed you, I just kind of walked and dodged around those rocks rather than trying to hop on top of them, because they're wet, right? And so potentially slippery. And since I don't have poles, I don't really have a way to like make sure I don't fall. And so it just felt safer to me to just walk across, and I did, and it was fine, and it wasn't a big deal. It's amazing that stuff gets worked up in your head, and you get, and like in mine anyway, and like it seemed, I do think it would have been dangerous yesterday, so I'm glad I didn't do that. But once you get stressed about it, it seems like so much more, like honestly it wasn't very hard to walk across it today, but I still had to kind of work myself up to do it. And it's interesting, the sound of the rushing water, which is a sound that in some situations I really love, that gets in my head as well, and it adds this other element of just like brain noise and stress, and I don't know. So that was interesting, but on the other side, everything is fine. I'm just letting my feet dry off a bit, and then I'll get this day started with some walking. Right off the bush. Nom nom nom. It's hard to make progress when you keep seeing these guys. These are the views from the top of my morning climb. It's a bit cloudy or smoky, can't tell which. There's a pretty awesome looking mountain over here, but you can't see it very well because it's in the clouds, but I imagine we'll get closer soon enough. So I guess it's good to know that the Yeti danger for today is only on medium. Good evening. I'm in the process of going for a new record for me of my longest day. The goal is now 31.5, so I'm not just going to cross that 30 barrier, we're going to jump a little past it. Basically, sometime today, it dawned on me that I was just ready to be at the next stop. The next stop for me is going to be Timberline Lodge, which I will hit tomorrow, not tonight. And that is only going to be a stop for a meal. And then from there, it's another 50 miles to Cascade Locks, which is the last town in Oregon, right at the Oregon-Washington border. So, yeah, somewhere today, I just hit a point where I was like, I'm ready to be there. And so, I'm doing my best to make myself get there. There's nothing I can do really but walk faster. And I can't really go any faster than I'm capable of, but I'm doing my best. And so, yeah, bit of a longer day today to put me there a little earlier tomorrow. Ooh, sorry, lots of rocks and logs and roots and things, as always. Anyway, so I'm power walking to meet my goal and to get to a buffet meal at Timberline Lodge tomorrow. So I've been in the trees all day. I didn't really know that it was still a smoky world outside of the forest, but it totally is. And you can't really appreciate it in the video, but there's your orange, smoky sun. Good morning on day 140. I set my new record yesterday of 31.5 miles in a day. And now I am 10 miles from Timberline Lodge, where there will be a lunch buffet waiting for me. I might make it just at the end of the breakfast one, but it's not really worth it, right, if you don't really get to sit and enjoy it. So lunch buffet it is. And here we go. Okay, so I'm still climbing up to Timberline Lodge, which is basically on the side of Mount Hood, which I believe is what I'm looking at right now. Pretty cool. Sand. I don't like sand. At least the views are all right. Whew, there it is. The land of the promised buffet. That's my first glimpse of it. Let's go. So this is the front entrance of the Timberline Lodge. And if this hotel is looking familiar to you, it is probably because it was the hotel that's used in The Shining. So pretty cool, pretty historical place. It's been around since the 1930s. It's got some cool architecture, really beautiful. I'm just in the parking lot now, so you won't really be able to tell, but it's a very pretty area as well. It's still smoky. There's some sort of car show going on tonight, so some cool antique cars. All right, so this is lodge life. To no one's surprise, I did not leave the lodge after breakfast today. It is now evening, and I am still sitting here enjoying the twilight views. Partially just because I like food and I like relaxing, but also because my foot is just really angry at me for walking nearly 2,100 miles, I guess. I woke up this morning and then it really hurt, and I normally, like, you're stiff when you wake up, so it wasn't a big deal, but I started walking and it was still hurting. I was like, well, just gonna have to limp until that loosens up, and after a while it did, and I walked 10 miles to get here, and I had planned on having lunch here and then walking at least another 10 more today. And the longer I sat here, the more that foot hurt. And so I've been icing it all afternoon, and it is feeling somewhat better after being relaxed and iced. But yeah, it's got another 50 miles to go before Cascade Locks, so it's going to have to get better. But yeah, I'm even more reason to hang out and enjoy the lodge. Too smoky for the views to be very nice, but this is the view from the sort of the balcony of the lodge. You can kind Let's see where I am. It's pretty neat. Good morning on day 141. I'm leaving Timberline Lodge. 550 miles to go. Apparently you can still ski here even in August, because one of the other hikers went skiing up here yesterday. There's Mount Hood from the other side. I don't know. I wonder if you can see Timberline up there, the lodge, hiding somewhere. Anyway, pretty cool. Got new goodies everywhere. Yum. I've had blueberries and huckleberries and thimbleberries. And I think those yellow ones are called salmon berries, although I'm not positive. So I've had all of those berries like within the last little section here. And then before that, ran into some trail magic. So I have also had some cherries and grapes and bananas. What a great day for fresh fruit. Good morning on day 142. It was a bit windy last night. The windiest it's been in a while, at least. Sometimes it's windy in the like afternoon or evening, but then it'll quiet down overnight. But last night it was a pretty constant gust on my tent, and it's hard to get out of your tent in the morning when you look up and it's just like being blown all around. And you're like, man, I don't want to go out there. They're trying to blow my house down. But it's not that bad. Now it's still a little gusty this morning, but just depends on which side of the mountain you're on. Today I am going to be arriving in Cascade Locks. Hope by the end of the day. I still have a full day to get there, but end of the day today I'll be in Cascade Locks, which is the last city in Oregon, and it's on the PCT in Oregon. And it's right at the Columbia River, so the Washington border is right there. Basically, I will cross the Columbia River on the Bridge of the Gods, and then I will be in Washington State, beginning the last section of this adventure, which is pretty exciting. But I probably won't be starting Washington like immediately, because going on in Cascade Locks this weekend is Trail Days or PCT Days, and I've never been to a Trail Days event, so I don't know exactly how to describe it, but basically it seems like it's kind of a weekend festival that sort of celebrates the outdoor and hiking community, and there'll be lots of like gear vendors there, some like presentations, and but just also just sort of events and food and things like that. Basically an excuse to hang out with lots of other outdoorsy people. Lots of hikers will be there, as well as just people from the community, I imagine. I don't know, I will find out. But that is going on mostly Saturday, which is tomorrow, but it does start tonight. And so I'm planning on hanging out there for that anyway, and kind of getting ready for Washington, but definitely excited to be at this stage in the trip. Another thing that I'm excited about getting to Cascade Locks is the prospect of getting myself a new shirt. This one has been with me since day one, and it's done pretty well, but it's getting pretty holy. That's just an example. The back is actually far, far worse. And yeah, I actually picked up this other, this tank top in Big Lake Youth Camp in the hiker box there, because the holes in the back of the shirt are so severe that my skin was starting to rub against my backpack and I was getting marks from that. So there weren't a lot of clothing options in the hiker box. This tank top is way too big, and obviously it does nothing to protect like my shoulders and upper body from the sun, but it is stopping the rubbing on my back. So so I've just been wearing the two shirts for a few days, and yeah, I'm really excited about the possibility of having a brand new shiny shirt for Washington. So glad we've got some clear skies today. This part of the trail is just so gorgeous. I can't get over it. There's another snowy mountain just there. I know you can't see much of it because of the clouds, but just like taking that in, that mountain, and just so that view up on that ridge, I think, was one of my favorites on the whole PCT so far. The three mountains that I believe we could see were St. Helens, Adams, and Rainier. And one of them was still, you know, the tip of it was kind of in the clouds, but I could make out the some of it. And you know, growing up on the East Coast and having never really been to the western part of the country, these are like places of myth to me. Like, obviously I knew they were real, but they might as well have been like Greek gods. Like, I mean, they, and so to actually see them, to just be walking along this ridgeline and looking at these mountains, that it's really cool. At least for me. I realize people have grown up looking at them and they're like, yeah, those are cool mountains, but I am almost speechless. Like, this is really, really neat. To keep the majestic mountains going, here's another look at Mount Hood, which I was sleeping at the base of just yesterday morning. So this is just cool to see where you've come from, like how far you've come. So I believe that's Mount Hood. We know I was there just like a day ago. And way over here, the peak of this, is that Mount Jefferson? That means I walked from there to here. It's just cool. Almost there. I'm making progress in my descent here. It is a long way down. The river, I think Gut Hook shows it at like 77 feet. So like nearly sea level is how low we're going, and we've dropped several thousand already. So a few more to go. Made it to town. So it's Thunder Island at PCT days. That's okay.